Couple things. All right, there's a lot of misinformation out there right now about the whole ticket refund deal and the 20% and all that stuff. So let's see if we can finish what we started yesterday, okay? 20% is the lockdown number. That's what it is. Now, if you've previously bought a ticket for the month of April, as of right now, as we said yesterday, you wasted your time. And I'm talking about like if you went and bought a single game ticket, okay? They're going to redo everything. Both the Yankees and the Mets, season ticket holders, are going to get the first crack at those 8, 9, 10,000 tickets.
10,850 at Yankee, 8,384 at City.
And I know that that's going to piss a lot of you off, but you also knew we're in the middle of a pandemic, and we're lucky that any fans are going to games. So if you bought a single game ticket or tickets to single or specific games in the month of April, in the last 8 months, I'm sorry. That's on you. I know you want to blame the Mets and Yankees for making the tickets available. You were as much aware as anyone else about what was going on in the world and specifically in New York. I'll be the first to take your side and fight and battle the man and go after an organization. I am not holding the Mets nor the Yankees responsible because you bought a single game ticket at the end of April and you're not going to be able to use that ticket. I'm sorry. That's on you.
Well, you knew going in the likelihood of a full capacity at Yankee Stadium and Citi Field was unlikely, but I have good news.
What is the good news?
This is me speculating, and you could tell me I'm wrong.
All right.
I don't think there is going to be this monstrous demand right out of the gate to go to Yankee Stadium and Citi Field.
Well,
I don't.
Opening day, forget about it.
Forget about it. Let me put that to the side. Okay. Opening day is a special event. Opening day sells out all across America. But on a Tuesday night at Yankee Stadium, a Tuesday night at Citi Field, when the weather isn't great, when the rules are, and they have changed a little bit, and this was the new information for me. We knew about 20%. You said it yesterday. That's out there. It was, hey, if you've gotten vaccinated, you don't need to be tested to get to the game.
Which is a big, big deal.
Monstrous.
Meaning you go to the stadium, you got a ticket, obviously. You have, I guess they have these vaccination cards that prove that you have been vaccinated.
Right.
If you have one of those cards and you have been vaccinated, you don't have to show them a negative test.
Right.
Now, if you don't have a vaccination card, then yes, you will have to show a negative test result.
And look, that means you got to do it 72 hours before the game, which kind of eliminates that last-second decision. I just don't know if right now, between the testing, between the aspect that not everybody is vaccinated, the weather isn't going to be great, and there's still plenty of people who aren't ready to go to a sporting event. I don't know if these tickets are going to be impossible to get. So, like, if you bought a game at Yankee Stadium in late April, I think there's a decent chance that single-game tickets are going to go on sale in a week and a half, and you'll be able to buy them. Now, may not be the same seat location.
Most likely not.
Most likely not, but I think there's a chance you're going to be able to go because what I understand is the Yankees and the Mets, rightfully so, are going to give the season ticket holders first crack. I'll be honest with you, I'm going to say yes. I am going to say yes. I would like my tickets, or at least as close to my seat as possible, and I will re-up.
And your dad's had tickets since '74. There's not going to be thousands and thousands who've had them longer, so you will have first crack for sure. And by the way, can't argue it.
No, absolutely.
Can't argue it from a business standpoint. Cannot argue it.
But
now,
I think there's going to be a lot of people, again, I'm not included in this, who are going to say, I'm going to pass. I'm not ready to go back to the ballpark.
There'll be some.
There will be some. Look, from what I understood, because I spoke to the Mets earlier today, they said, because I asked them a quick key question. I said, look, are you going to have single-game tickets available? And the answer was, if every single season ticket holder said, we are re-upping, we want the entire month of April, then the answer would be no.
Right.
But that's not going to happen.
But
there will be people who don't re-up for the month of April.
And the season ticket holders that do get the tickets, a lot of them are going to be selling them on the secondary market.
Exactly.
If you really want to go to a Met or Yankee game, other than maybe opening day for the month of April, you'll be able to go. Now, if you've already given them your money for a game here, a game there, all right, you're going to be given two things. Number one, you're going to be offered a credit. That credit can go towards the purchase of a ticket this year and next year.
Yes.
Now, let's say you're one of these guys, you're a big curmudgeon, and you're like, go F yourself. I want my money back. I don't want you holding my money because I don't know when I want to come back. Not a problem. There is misinformation out there that you cannot get a refund. That is incorrect. You can get a refund. There's a couple of hoops you got to jump through.
Yeah, you got to go
some forms you got to fill out.
April 1st at 10 a.m. You got to fill out a form. And they did this last year, the Mets and the Yankees. They gave you your money back last year. It was just you had to fill out forms and do different things. But my question would be, why? And I know each individual is different. I totally get it. Why did you buy single game tickets and what were you expecting? Because this was very, very likely. Now, maybe you took a gamble, which I get, saying, you know what? God forbid, everything is great. The place is 100%. I just want to buy the tickets. Fine, you took a risk. But even in May, because right now the Yankees and Mets and the state of New York really said these are the rules for April. In mid-May, we're going to reevaluate. In mid-May, it's not going to go from 20% to 80%.
No.
I mean, maybe
30%, then 40, et cetera, et cetera.
Maybe they're eliminating the testing component.
If you gave the Mets or Yankees money over the last year, you're in a position where you could afford to have given them that money. You don't miss the money. It's not like you're saying to yourself, well, am I going to pay the mortgage and car payment or buy a ticket for a game in late April 6 months in advance? So it's not, you don't need the money, I'm assuming. So I think very few people are going to jump through the few hoops needed to ask for their money back. Leave it as a credit. It means you're going to a Met or Yankee game. You may not just go on the date you wanted to
And hold on a second.
Let's go.
Just let that sink in for a second.
Yeah.
Just
Blue-collar guy.
That's right.
Let it sink in. And I know we talked about this yesterday, and we've speculated about this for weeks and months. You are going to be able to be inside of Yankee Stadium and Citi Field and watch a baseball game, period. Just think about that. I know it's going to be weird. I know it's going to be different. You got to go back to mid-October 2019. Garrett Cole was an Astro. James Paxton was a Yankee the last time you were in Yankee Stadium. You know the last time we were at Citi Field? Dom Smith hit a pinch-hit walk-off home run in this feel-good moment to end the 2019 season. That's a long time ago. And that's going to change. On April 1st in the Bronx and on April 8th in Queens, I get emotional thinking about it. Because being back in these stadiums, even if it's 8,000 at Citi, 10,000 at Yankee Stadium, even if it's not opening day, even if it's a Tuesday night against the Marlins,
right? To
be in a baseball stadium again, it's special.
Well, so you got that going on. We talked about it a lot yesterday, but of course, for some of you that may just be learning about it, we got you covered on that. I'd love to know what you're going to do. Are you going to go out there and try to get on whatever line there might be to buy the tickets? Do you want to go to tickets? Get tickets. If you have tickets, kind of get a little pulse of the people at 2 o'clock on Thursday.
One quick thing I do know from the Mets, if you're a season ticket holder, on Monday is like the big day. That's when you're going to find out your potential location, and that's where you get to decide, am I in for April? Am I out for April?
Yeah.
So it's coming, man. I mean, it's coming quick.
By the way, if you do want a ticket, there's a good chance Evan will be selling his. So just listen to the show, and he'll let you know the day before if and you guys can work out
I'm going to go,
deal.
Man. What are you talking about? Not every game, but a bunch of games.
Second thing, of course, NFL free agency. Jets are now linked to Juju, and now a lot of people are trying to connect the dots that because Juju played with Sam Darnold, that maybe it means, it has nothing to do with Sam Darnold.
No, it's because he's a good receiver.
Yeah, right.
And you need talent for a young quarterback named, not Sam Darnold, a young quarterback named Zachariah Wilson.
And I'm not sure that the Jets are going to do anything this week anyway. But the big story, of course, in the NFL is the now blossoming situation with Deshaun Watson as another woman has come forward and has joined, the parade of civil suits against Deshaun Watson. This gal's now accusing him of forcing oral sex on her. Listen, there's one woman, then two, then three. So they're trying to create what would appear to be some kind of pattern of behavior. Now, we typically always want to be sensitive, and you should be sensitive, to the allegations of any type of harassment, sexual harassment for sure, and all that. And I want to do that, and I will do that, as Evan will too. But I don't think we know the entire story yet. Frankly, I think we're probably far from what the entire story is. So while I think it is prudent to always be sensitive to the accusations or the accuser, because to be fair, there's a small percentage of people that out of left field invent some type of heinous sexual harassment. It does happen, but it's not the norm. And for those out there that are suggesting, you want to, hang Deshaun Watson up and burn him like a witch in Salem, and we should immediately think that these women are telling the truth, I think it's only fair to also look at it the other way. And until the evidence is presented, and until we hear from Rusty Hardin, who's now representing Deshaun Watson in this, and again, there are no criminal charges as of yet. This is all civil, meaning it's a money grab at some level. I think if you want to be prudent and be respectful to the alleged victim, you should also be prudent and be respectful to a guy that might not have done anything. And I think let's at least play both sides the same way.
Well,
let's tell the story based on the evidence we know. Because my gut is that there's a lot of evidence that we've not yet seen.
Oh,
or heard.
absolutely. Here's what complicates this more than any other case with an athlete or an accusation against an athlete. Because let's be honest about it. What complicates this is the trade demand. And the reason I say that is when there's an accusation against an athlete, we sit and say, all right, let's wait for the evidence. Let's wait to see what happens. And then we will determine what the team should do, what we think as fans. This is in the midst of a player who is having a standoff with a franchise where, in my opinion, there's a clock on when the team can really trade him. And so that adds something to this that we haven't seen, which is what I think about it and what you think about it and what fans think about it. Sure, but what do the Dolphins think about it?
Right.
What do the Jets think about it?
Right.
What do the Texans think about it? Because that's the difference between this, from a sports perspective, than everything else. Because most of the time it's, let's wait and see. I don't know. There right now is in a wait-and-see moment because this is a man who we all believe the Texans were going to trade in the next couple of weeks. Can they? Will they? Should they? Will there be an outcry in the city of New York if the Jets trade for him? Will there be an outcry in Miami?
I really don't think so. I think while his reputation is taking a beating right now, I think that's only because his side hasn't presented any of what they have, fact-based to disprove what the allegations are. And I don't know exactly what they have, but my gut tells me they probably got something.
But will the
like
teams...
like the question like this, the latest gal who's alleging that he forced oral sex on her.
Right.
So it's an interesting story. She got on a plane late at night to fly from Atlanta to Houston to give him a massage. I mean, that in and of itself sounds weird to me. I don't know. Does that not sound weird to you?
A lot of this sounds weird.
Right. Do we know if she wanted to go back and see him again and maybe he rebuked her and she got upset? Right? Do we know if this is a money grab? Do we know?
Well, did
they ask for money prior to going public?
Can one side prove the other side is lying?
Well, we're going to find out.
That's the key.
But I want to say, be very clear about this. Yes, you should be respectful about the allegations. This should not be, let's just torch the alleged victim here. She's got to be a crackpot. She's wrong. But you also can't do it the other way either. I don't think it's fair to do it the other way.
No.
Because you're talking about a guy who, outside of these stories, has a sterling reputation. Now, if what he's being accused of happens to be accurate, that reputation, rightfully so, should be thrown in the gutter. But if it's not, then what do you do? What if this is just a money grab?
But will we ever be able to truly know?
Well, I mean,
that's the question I think I have as a fan, and a lot of people have. Will we ever know full well what the truth actually was?
I think if the Deshaun Watson side has evidence,
well then, sure.
Whether that be text messages or, I don't know, videos or Instagram postings, I don't know.
Also, the burden of proof is a lot less in a case like this than a criminal case. That's the other thing that's involved.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is incredibly complicated, and it comes down to something that is the case in a lot of these. We don't know. I wasn't there. Nobody was there. We don't know who's telling the truth. And so I wonder, are the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins talking and investigating
and
trying to dig as much as they can before they make a huge investment?
I think what all those teams are going to do, I think they're going to wait to hear what Rusty Hardin says whenever he does speak publicly.
Right.
I think that's one.
Sure.
And then as this plays itself out, since there's not going to be any type of financial settlement now, because everyone's gone to the mattresses on it, if you're representing Deshaun Watson, if you're on the Deshaun Watson team, per se, whatever evidence you have to dismiss these allegations, I don't think you wait a week. I think you get yourself together with your new lawyer. You present all the tangible evidence you may or may not have, assuming you got something, and you get it out there immediately. Because the longer the story goes on for, the worse it gets. Now, He's got a contract. He's got a $140 million contract. So this is not about him getting a new contract. This is about his reputation. And then ultimately, if you think there's enough evidence, remember this. The state always has the right to come after you criminally without any of the alleged victims asking them to. Now, if he is guilty or there's enough evidence that can prove that he has sexually assaulted or harassed multiple women,
then it would become a criminal case.
The state has the right on behalf of the victims to go forward and press criminal charges without anyone saying they want to be a part of it.
Right.
So it's interesting. Plus, the lawyer, this Todd Busby guy, I did a lot of research into him so I know what we're talking about. This guy, he ran for mayor and lost, but I get about 44% of the vote, which was pretty incredible considering he has no political background whatsoever. But he's an interesting character himself. He was a Marine. He's got a shark tattoo on his arm. He's one of the largest personal injury lawyers in America.
But he is single-handedly...
He has a tank. No joke. He has a tank from the D-Day invasion of Normandy sitting in front of his house.
I mean, that is kind of cool, actually.
It's pretty cool.
But you know what he's doing?
Yeah.
And this is the part that really does annoy me, because I don't know what happened, obviously. None of us do. He is hurting the case of the victims if they were truly victims.
I don't know about
Did you
that
not
yet.
see that?
I don't know about that yet.
When he releases his statement on social media that makes it all about himself.
Yeah.
When he basically asks, hey, anyone else have an issue with Deshaun Watson? And when he has this reputation he has, right or wrong, and it's not fair to the victims, to be honest with you, it makes you say, wait a second, what is this guy's motivation? And that stinks. If this truly happened.
Well, his motivation is money. That's what his. He has a law practice that's built on money and intimidation.
Right, but I think the look of what he's done so far has not helped in the public opinion.
Yeah.
Because people see a guy releasing a statement talking about the job of his mom and his dad. Talking about how he grew up. Yeah. This ain't about you, pal. If it's about anybody,
it's worked for him apparently in Houston with Houston jurors because they're simple type blue collar people, and that has been his act for a long time.
And it works.
He's won the far majority of cases he's ever tried.
Interesting.
He also was in bed with a federal judge down there, or maybe a state judge down there, who there's a lot of allegations about impropriety with his relationship with a former judge down there who was actually kicked off the bench.
Interesting.
In a disgraced manner. He's had a DWI himself. Some woman was arrested outside his house for trashing $300,000 worth of, Andy Warhol paintings. There's like a lot of stuff with this guy. He's really a fascinating character. He hosts a reality show down there about restaurants.
Doesn't all of that back up what I just told you then?
Well, listen.
That he hurts the cases of the victims because of that?
But he wins. He wins, and he wins a lot. Now, Rusty Hardin, you guys all remember Rusty.
Roger Clemens.
He represented Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
And he's like the cat's meow in Houston as well. So you're talking about the battle of titans when it comes down to the legal profession in Houston. But there is something about these women that are making the now brand new allegations of impropriety and sexual assault and aggressiveness on Deshaun Watson that worries me regarding the allegations. Because I do believe there's information out there that if and when presented might make you view the alleged victims differently. And it all centers around money. Money is the key to this entire thing. Money, and more money. So
I wonder
if I'm Deshaun's people, to me, this can't wait 3 weeks. I got to get my act together. Here's everything we got, and let's go talk. Now, Deshaun's not going to talk, but he's got a lawyer, and Rusty Hardin will be out there soon.
I wonder if certain teams would say, look, I don't want to dig in. I'm just not going to deal with this. I'm not going to do the research. I'm not going to find out if this is true or not. I don't want to have to try to sell this to my fan base. I think there will be teams that say, I don't want to deal with it. I'm not going to trade for Deshaun Watson.
It's just, just because I'm a guy and I'm going to say what I'm about to say should not make anyone react negatively. And I recognize this new cancel culture we live in. there's an aspect of one aspect of this story that just bothers me. Just bothers me for what it is. I got on a plane in Atlanta at night and flew to Houston, Texas to give someone a massage? I'm sorry. Now, if he acted improper towards her, it shouldn't matter what the situation is. So I want to be clear about that. I'll say that every time we tell the story. But do you want me to believe you got on a plane in Atlanta and flew to Houston to give someone a massage? Hello?
But you know what the problem is?
Like, does that not seem a little odd?
No, it does. But the problem is that's one of 6 potential victims.
What was this, a $50,000 massage?
Maybe more.
No, like I'm asking, like, you got on a plane in Atlanta to fly to Houston to give someone a massage. No?
No, I agree with you, but
did that not seem weird?
No,
to anybody else?
But Craig, a lot of things seem weird in this whole thing. But again, there are 6 different victims that are supposedly, I think 3 so far, or 4 so far, have come forward. So there's going to have to be an answer for each one of those if you're from Deshaun Watson's side. Is it all a collusion and made up? I don't know. Look, the truth is, I don't know. You don't know either. I agree, yes, on the surface, that sounds odd. That sounds,
Yeah.
But again, there are now going to have to be, from the side of Deshaun Watson, 6 different rebukes.
Well, we'll have to see, right.
No, and I'm not saying it's
regardless of how this all plays out, there's one thing that's factual. His reputation's taken a hit, and that might be deserved. But the real question is, did he break the law, right? Did he harass or sexually assault any of these women?
Right.
That's really what's paramount here.
Of course.
Like, he'll never recover from the allegations and accusations.
Which, if it's all,
and
by the way, if they're all made up, that sucks.
Yeah.
If it's all complete BS, then you're right. How fair is that?
But like that'll always be with him. Fortunately or unfortunately, for the rest of his life, someone will always remember these stories. So the real question now is, did he do anything illegal? Did he harass or assault any of these women? Because that's when the story changes for me. And if he did, I want to be clear. I do not want the New York Jets to sign him. If he did. If he did not, and this is a money grab from some Instagram model looking to make a name for herself or cash in on his fame, then I've got no problem with the New York Jets signing him.
Now you said,
I want to be clear about that.
You said, if he did this, I don't want the Jets interested.
I do not.
Well, here's the bottom line. There's a clock running, and there's about 40 days on that clock.
Yeah.
Because once the NFL draft passes, and I've said this before from a football perspective, I don't believe the Jets really have the goods to get them. They've got the number 2 pick. They've got the 22nd pick. They got all these assets. They have a clock running. So I ask you this question.
Go ahead.
In the next 40 days, will we have clarity?
Yes.
Will the Jets have clarity?
Yes, we'll have it well before 40 days.
Okay.
We're going to have it next week.
Okay.
Now, today's Thursday. So if you told me that the Deshaun Watson team wants to get their act together and get all their ducks in a row in the next couple days and come out on Monday with a statement and some evidence, I think that's reasonable.
Now, let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
Because you're locked in and you know the Jets. Even if it's not true, even if these allegations are made up, can you see a team with an owner that just came back from the UK, with a general manager like Joe Douglas, saying, you know what? I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk the PR that we get.
I don't.
I don't want to have to answer questions. Let's pass.
Well, look,
let's go the safe route.
You're saying if it's proven that the allegations are garbage, then there'd be no reason not to sign them.
If there's uncertainty about it. Now, I know you say we will have an answer in 40 days. What if we don't? Can you see a team saying, like the Jets, because that's a team we care about, saying, you know what? I don't want to deal with it.
Don't know. I mean, I guess suppose the answer to that question is yes. Could I see a team doing that? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Would the Jets do it? Great question. Don't know the answer to that. I really don't.